Welcome back.
We're here in this
we are
country.
Literally just here.
We're just here. Like, we are just here and we're here.
There's no further description.
No, none. Like, my catchphrase this week, it is currently May 7th, so I'm inches away from school being done for the year. I've been a nomad for 10 days now. 10 school days because of testing, and they use my room. So every day I get there and I go, okay, where do I go? Where do you want me?
I don't understand why they use your room for testing, but they don't use you. Like, that should be illegal.
So I'm actually fine with it because I kind of hate testing. And their logic, for once, there actually is a sound logic here. So most of the kids that are engaging in testing are not my students. So they try and not remove people from their students when they could be teaching them. So coincidentally, this is related to our episode today. What they did this time, which I was very much in favor of, is they had the main people that are proctoring tests right now are people at my school who are school employees but are not teachers. So lots of people who are coaches and support and this and that. So people that are technically certified teachers but are not, they do not have rosters, they do not have classes. That's a lot of who's doing it. So their logic is kind of like, well, we can kick Miss Redacted out with her class and they can still engage in instruction and not lose that instructional time while we use this room. And the reason they always use my room, they're not picking on me or anything, they use our hallway because it's a very small hallway. So they put lunch tables at either end of it. So there's no like traffic within the hallway. And this is kind of the only part of the school where that's really feasible to set it up in that way. And there's some outlets for the Chromebook carts. So like, I get it. Like, it is what it is.
I appreciate you defending them. I don't know.
It's the only time you'll hear it because also my favorite administrator's in charge of testing. So I'm like, it's actually perfect. No improvements.
Honestly, that's a big part of it. If I like somebody, they can pretty much do whatever they please. And I'm like, yeah, well, that's what they needed.
I get to return to my home tomorrow, and it's not been the whole time, it's just in the morning, but I feel like it just throws my whole day, and we've been on an adjusted schedule every day, and like, honestly, I'm going to need them to stop sending out an adjusted schedule in advance. I know this is going to sound contradictory because normally I'm like, you need to get teachers that schedule in advance. There has not been a single day that we adhered to it. We had to live adjust it every single day because testing ran over or had a problem every single day. And this always happens. I think we should just call those days vibe days. No one has to turn in a lesson plan. We just feel it out. And because I think it would be more productive instead of us having this like rapid, insane schedule changing is like for each day of testing, pick a class period, and after testing, you spend the rest of the day with your first period. After testing, you spend the rest of the day with your second period. Because we usually don't finish testing. Today it was 11:50. So we only had a couple more hours in the school day, so they're trying to make a live schedule and figure out lunches. I feel like it would just be less chaotic if we did it like, yeah, you're going to spend 3.5 hours in first period. Even though that's insane, I feel like that would be in a way less movement and less disruption. And then also like, they have to turn the bells off because of testing. So when it's the time, some teachers just start letting the kids out and then they'll have to send a message like, put them back in, we're not done. It's just been truly horrible. Truly.
I was thinking about being an administrator. I wasn't like considering it. I was just imagining myself in the position of like what these people do.
Like whatever the reverse of fantasizing is, nightmaring.
Right. Day nightmares. But I was just thinking, I was listening to you explain that and I was like, I feel like that's the level of granularity that I feel like I need from somebody in charge of my schedule. Because if people are always like, oh, well, there's reasons for everything. Like, there's reasons. Like, trust us, there's reasons. I want you to sit with me. I want you to be like, listen to how fucking annoying this option was. This option was also annoying. This was annoying. And then I picked this one because of X, Y, and Z. And I'd be like, well, all right. Well, yeah, that makes sense to me. Instead of like, well, we're changing the bell schedule today.
Yeah, like, and that's why the administrator that is over testing, if you ask her, like, why was this done in this way, she will explain it to you. And, like, the thing I love the most about her is, like, she does not have an ego. She will be the first, especially because this is her first year in charge of testing. So she's been an administrator for a while, but this is the first year she's in charge of testing. On multiple occasions, she has been like, the way I did that was very horrible and disorganized and will not happen like that again. And like, then I can work with that. Like, if you're going to tell me that you're always right and it always went perfect, I really cannot work with you. But like, if you can explain why you did something in a certain way and you're willing to be like, yeah, that did not go smooth. And that's what I was saying, having like teacher non-teachers being the administrators this time, that's a new thing she's doing, because last time it like didn't go so smooth, and she was like, we're going to do the proctors differently next time, and she did, and I think it's been nicer. Some people aren't thrilled about it.
I think that is really nice when people take ownership of stuff too. I'm turning into a monster. It's like a werewolf on a full moon. And
I feel the exact same way.
You know,
I know
exactly what I mean.
what you're. It literally just happened.
It bursts from within me. And then, but when somebody says I'm sorry, or like, shit, that didn't go well, my bad, I'm just like, it's okay.
Oh.
It melts away. I guess I just don't expect it from people.
Yeah. It's like very
Especially,
refreshing.
yeah.
So you like kind of can't yell at someone like that. It's kind of like when a kid says that I tried my best. You're like, oh, fuck. Like, my bad.
My bad, bro. So today, Redacted had this wonderful idea where we're going to read job descriptions and their salaries, and then we're going to decide if we think they deserve that money or not.
Or if they should even exist. If that job should even exist.
Amen.
One thing in education that gave me the idea for this topic, because I'm so passionate about it, I am so tired of seeing my tax dollars. I'm turning right wing, by the way, and now I like to rant about where my tax dollars are going. Y'all have gotten to do it for 20 years, so I will be starting my 20 years now. I am so tired of seeing my tax dollars go into schools to fund positions of people that do not interact with children. I am so tired of the hundreds of thousands of dollars being spent on education that never once reaches children. These people do not talk to children. These people do not teach children. These people do not interact with them. Most of these people are only talking to adults all day, every day. And if you work in education and you do not talk to children at all in your day, I think there's a very limited list of job titles that I'm okay with existing. So like IT. Yeah, why would you be talking to the kids? That makes sense that you wouldn't. But the amount of people that work in curriculum, data analysis, all these things that are never once interacting with children or inside of a classroom, all they do is go to meetings. I find it so jarring. I saw a graph that did not have any citations or evidence, but did resonate with me spiritually, so I will be taking it as the truth, that showed the percentage of administrators in schools has gone up by over 80%, and teachers had only gone up by like 13%. This was on Facebook, so they cannot lie on there. I don't know if you knew that, but it's actually illegal for them to lie on Facebook.
It is. And this particular statistic she's about to read was actually on an infographic with a bunch of minions in like speech bubbles.
So this person could be lying, but this says it is according to data from the Center for Education Statistics, whatever the hell that is. And it is showing here, Fraz, I'm going to send it to you so you can see what I'm looking at.
If you're wondering.
Perfect. Administrative staff has gone up 95%. Principals and assistant principals has gone up by 39%. Who the fuck is administrative staff? And what are they doing with our money? Because school site administrative staff is very different than district administrative staff. School site administrative staff is like our front desk lady who, like, when you come to check your kid out, she's who's sitting there. Counselors, coordinators, like we have someone whose job it is who does like the transcripts and like fields the phone calls and makes appointments and things like that. That type of administrative staff I can see, but I have a feeling that is not a lot of what this 95% is. I think this 95% is a lot of the people we're going to be talking about and how much money they're making on this episode. Because as much as we say education needs more funding, it does. What I think is a bigger issue is the way that funding currently gets spent in education.
I'm trying to verify this image.
Is the image real? I think it's real.
The only website I can find it on is American Experiment. So give me a second.
Is that a bad one?
It came from the far right.
Listen, there's been a lot of times that I go so far. I don't think it's me going so far left that I'm turning right. I think it's actually the right going so confused that they're accidentally turning left. Like, broken clock is right twice a day type shit.
There have been some surprising overlaps. So I'm not sure about the origin of that graphic, but I do know that Education Next says Growth in administrative staff and assistant principals far outpaces teacher hiring. It says the Labor Department counts 271,020 K through 12 education administrators with an average wage of more than $100,000 a year. This is from 2020, but it's interesting because they're framing it around, could COVID finally disrupt the top-down education bureaucracy?
No,
Well,
they took the money that the government gave them for children's snacks and then they spent it on these people.
what I really believe that we need is more support staff, but it's troubling because, like you said, a lot of these positions don't directly interact with students every single day
Or ever.
and they're always stretched very thin in my experience, where like, oh, we got this instructional assistant who's going to help you out, but it turns out that they just show up in my room and start telling me how to teach without actually helping me. Like, my experience has been like, oh, you need to be doing this and this and this and this and this, and then I say, okay, I have like 3 kids that need assessed, and I have a kid that's like beating the shit out of everyone. And they're like, okay, well, keep collecting data. We'll circle back on that in April, and maybe we'll get to those assessments. And then if not, we'll just pass those kids on to their first grade teacher, and I'm going to tell her to keep collecting data until April, and then we're just going to pass these kids on until the end of time. And then also the kid who's beating the shit out of everyone, let's talk about how it's actually your fault that that's happening, you know? And it's like, no, you're pulling my para and making them do a different job, and like, I could really use some support. Like, instead of standing in here for an hour and judging the shit out of me, you could come in here for an hour and
stay
run a
for an
center or two.
hour? Mine
Depending
stay
on
for 6
whatever
minutes
it
and then
is.
email me how horrible I am.
Like, however long they're in my room, I love when an administrator comes in my room and starts helping me. That's why I always talk up freaking Nancy, because she was a principal who every single time she came in my room was instantly like helping me, monitoring, or passing stuff out, or whatever it was that I was doing. She was instant co-teacher mode, and it was very seamless and wonderful and supportive, versus like the people who would come in my room and start like,
Well, this is what I've kind of realized is the problem of this dynamic. I've thought about this at length because I've been on the receiving end of it. You know the saying, like, shit rolls downhill. So lots of quote unquote underperforming schools are more likely to have these people in them, because basically this is the dynamic of what happens. Let's say a school is doing very bad on standardized tests. That's how the government measures schools, because we live in hell. So let's say the school is doing really bad on standardized tests. Someone whose job it is to make that better, superintendent reports to the State Department of Education and their school board. Those people say, hey, what the fuck is going on at this school? What's the fucking problem? Everyone has to have like a blame game, and everyone has to defend how they're fixing it. When there's a problem in the numbers, everyone has to have, oh, I'm fixing it. And then the fix has to find a blame. So what happens is a school is underperforming, low performing, struggling, whatever. Rather than doing a thorough investigation, figuring out what's happening there, talking to people, trying to get at the root of the problem, because that takes a very long time, and we only have until our next meeting. We don't have time for that. We have to come up with a solution for the next meeting because our boss is mad at us. We create this position. Okay, because the data is low, we made a position. It's going to be a data team to help the teachers analyze their data, because clearly the teachers need to be analyzing the data. So this team is going to fix it. So it's presented to the people funding it as like a fix to a problem. They're like, problem, kids are doing bad, fix. We hire this person who's going to come in and fix it. It's going to be so great. But when that person gets in that job, we know the reasons children perform low on standardized tests. It's usually because of inequality. It's usually because of things they're facing outside of school, or maybe they didn't eat enough that morning. Maybe they need to be assessed and need learning supports. There's tons of reasons why kids can underperform on standardized tests. The vast majority of those cannot be solved by a data team or whatever. So that data team, they have to prove why I'm making a salary. So it just turns into a documentation game that often falls on teachers, because teachers are the ones they can control. They cannot control children, because no one can control children, and you're not in control of children's home lives. So you can't fix the problem that you were hired to fix. It's impossible in your position with the resources you have. But you have to defend, why am I getting paid $6,000 a month, $10,000 a month, whatever you're getting paid? So you need to write reports. of what you're doing. So what you can say you're doing is talking to the teachers because that's what you got hired to do. So what it suddenly turns into is homework for teachers to defend why someone else is being paid a salary to solve a problem that they've been making no progress on. Because then what's happening year after year is it's not getting better, it's actually getting worse. So then it just like snowballs and gets bigger and bigger, and they start putting more on teachers' plates, and it ends up on teachers' plates because there's no other plate to put it on. You can't put it on the data team's plate because their job is to help teachers with data. They don't interact with children. What can they do? So it's like, because we cannot face the reality of this whole thing is fucked up and these standardized tests are not an accurate measurement, instead we make this like fake solution of these bullshit positions and waste money that could be sent towards actually solving the problem of like children not receiving adequate education.
And it's really difficult because it's like all these things come down to somebody is sold the dream. Somebody comes into a school and is like, this is what you need to solve your problem, or this is what you need to make this happen. And then we still don't have the classroom support. We don't have it. So when somebody starts a new curriculum, nobody's teaching teachers how to implement that curriculum with fidelity. So nobody's figuring out, okay, what are teachers already doing? What do they need to be doing to make this successful, to make the kids successful? And it is that snowball effect. And I think it all comes down to like when public schools are trying to copy the logic of the private sector, like it's back to the fucking capitalism episode again. It's very frustrating because it does not fucking work. I'm not saying like admin is bad. I'm saying that like when a school district adds 5 new data collectors and coordinators and instructional assistants, but 0 new paraprofessionals or teacher aides, like what's the priority here? Is it just like making yourself look good through the numbers that you can pull? Or like, does that school that you just hired all these admin at have a fully staffed nurse's office? Do they have counselors? I don't know. Pisses me off.
And the thing that also gets me is like one of the strongest educational indicators we have is class size. There is so much data behind small class sizes being one of the most effective ways to improve student outcome. We have data that is even up to like 50 years old. Consistently, study after study, they find that small class sizes are beneficial. So why would you not just make those 3 people teachers and cut everyone's class by 10?
That is the age-old question.
Because if they're all certified, and we know that that is one of the most reliable ways to increase student outcome, why aren't we doing it?
Time and time and time again. But like leave it to the United States of America to go about fixing something with their hands over their eyes. Like we know this. But we also know that like teachers unions are very strong bargainers, that the best education systems, not only in the world, but from state to state, have strong unions. And then red states are like, but we don't want to do that.
Do you want to hear the worst defense I've ever heard about these positions? This was on Facebook in like my local teacher Facebook group, and someone was talking about this of like, why are there so many admin positions, but where our class sizes are still huge? This is like a conversation people are having in this group. This group gets very spicy because they have the anonymous feature turned on, so people will say anything in that bitch. So this is the defense, and it was on anonymous, so I know it had to be a school board member or a admin on anonymous, because that's been a plague of the group, that apparently there's like people in it that like, it's not like it's supposed to be teachers only, but apparently there's a bunch of admin in it who post anonymously, and people are like, I thought this would be confidential. I'm like, at the end of the day, it is a Facebook group of strangers, so like maybe we don't talk direct shit and name our boss in it. Like, just a thought, let's keep that in a private group chat. But anyway, I digress. People are talking about all these random positions in schools, and someone anonymously in the comment sections is saying that teachers should actually be grateful for these positions. And part of the reason that they exist is because this is one of the only ways for teachers to get promoted within education, and that it's actually an amazing opportunity for us, and that we had to create all these positions so that teachers could make more money, because classroom teachers don't make very much. So they have to be able to get promoted into a better job. So it's nice that we have these because they're open for teachers to apply to them. And that's the only way that teachers could make more money. They got ripped the fuck apart.
Good.
People were like, or you could just give the fucking teachers the money.
It really comes down to not trusting teachers.
That's always what it is. And then the thing that's crazy to me, like in sociology, there's a lot of labels that you learn that like labels that can get put on people of like archetypes of like someone does one action and then they turn into like a victim in everyone's eyes. Like it's really easy for people to get boxed in. I feel like this is the reverse of that with teaching. Like as soon as you don't have the title teacher, suddenly you're magic and we trust you, even if you were teaching the year before. Because I've seen that happen within my school. People that were in the classroom last year who are no longer not magically have this trust now. When a year ago, they were getting the same, you're horrible feedback, you're not doing enough. They were getting all the same shit. And now suddenly they get to give it. There was no extra degree earned. There was no certification achieved. There was no student mile marker achieved by them. That it's literally just like a label that like when you're labeled as teacher, it's like red, do not trust. And then when you get labeled as anything but teacher, it's like, okay, green, we trust you.
Yep. My God. It's like you're in my brain, but like you say things better. It's really interesting that we're seeing like states have the freedom to direct their budgets how they choose. You'd think that like one of the first things they would choose is hiring teachers.
You would.
It's like administrators are viewed as like a stabilizing force in these understaffed schools, and then it's like teachers are part of why they think schools are chaotic. And like the rhetoric that lawmakers spew about teachers and the things that they say about educators, I feel like really props that up. I mean, they don't like admin either. They're like, they make too much money, but then these teachers are groomers. Like it's like
Do you want to read some of the descriptions of the people that hate us? Okay, some of them I'm going to skip over because they actually seem decent. And then I also found a couple just now on my own. This one that I just found, this is a curriculum support specialist. The pay is not very high, but this is in Florida where they all get paid low. So this starting salary is $53,000, which is higher than teachers in this district. So this person is making more than teachers. I'll read you the job description. The curriculum support specialist will be responsible for planning, delivering, and presenting subject area in-service classes. They offer district services to students and/or teachers by developing appropriate curriculum materials and assessment tools and providing demonstration lessons and instructional coaching. I happen to have interacted with the person with this title, and I've never once seen them interact with a student, so interesting. Support and information relative to instructional and staff development will also be provided. The curriculum support specialist serves as a resource to administration and instructional staff. This is looking not good so far. Not a great use of $53,000 I'm hearing. Have you heard anything tangible for a child yet?
no.
This is job, task, and responsibilities. Plans, organizes, and develops curriculum materials and presents at in-service activities, workshops, and programs in designated subject areas. Provides support services to schools through demonstrational lessons and instructional coaching to improve classroom environment. Assists teachers in identifying students' needs and recommends appropriate instructional methods and materials to increase student achievement. Develops and administers assessment instruments to determine effectiveness of instruction. Assist administrators and school personnel in implementing educational programs. Provides curriculum support and assistance for region and school-based staff. Half these bullets have said the same thing, that they're providing curriculum. So I'm going to skip over the ones that are about providing curriculum. That's all of them. Facilitates the interaction and networking of school-based teachers for the purpose of sharing techniques and strategies. That sounds like PLC to me. And then performs other related duties as required or assigned. They need to have a bachelor's degree and 3 years of teaching experience to make more than teachers to coach them.
That's crazy.
Do you want to apply?
Do you think a person wrote that or like a robot wrote that? Because they said like all that curriculum shit that they said over and over and over again.
I think a person wrote that just because I know this district and that job description has existed there for a couple years. So I don't think it was ChatGPT just because they've had that position. They probably just use the same one every time. But I do think that someone who's a bad writer wrote it.
Well, there you
have it.
Because
in reality, that job description could have just been 2 bullets. They just have to make it sound more detailed so that no one goes, wait, who the fuck is getting a full salary for that?
Right. Oh, my God. Well, I found another really high-paying one here.
Okay.
That I looked at the salary schedule. And even if you are a teacher for 16 years, that's the top of their scale, and you have a bachelor's plus 75 additional credit hours, including a master's or a PhD, you're still not going to make as much as this administrator.
And you never
not even
will.
With bumps.
Not even if you coach the soccer team. For $8
No,
an
maybe
hour.
the football team and you win a bunch of shit. I don't know.
Someone literally looked at me in my face the other day because I said I was thinking about becoming a health teacher because I think I would just really enjoy that. And I think it would be a little more exempt from the standardized testing annoyingness. And someone said, but you don't coach anything. They always use that position for coaches. And I said, oh, God forbid someone was passionate about health.
Right?
God forbid. Because I was talking to my friend about it, and I was like, you think they'd be doing a worksheet? No. We'd be outside doing jumping jacks, stretching, and meditating.
Absolutely. So, okay, this one is the Expanded Learning Opportunities Program Administrator. And this person makes anywhere from $117,000 to $144,000. It says, under the direction of the Director of Student Services, the Expanded Learning Opportunities Program Administrator leads and implements the school district's vision to offer extended learning opportunities to students before and after school. Okay, so this person is going to lead the organizational efforts to develop innovative programs and expand learning opportunities for students. So this is the admin for before and after school only, I'm assuming.
So what's their schedule like? Do they only have to be there before and after school?
I don't know. This has 2 full pages of duties and responsibilities. I mean, it says they maintain records. They attend multiple functions, including those on weekends and at night, to promote the after-school program. They supervise and evaluate staff. They facilitate and provide professional development for staff. They provide on-site coaching for staff. They ensure that the budget and reporting deadlines and requirements are met. They're doing everything. They're the front office, the back office, the coach. They work directly with the educational liaisons to address parental concerns. Lots and lots and lots of data collection. Like it says, prepares a variety of documents, reports, written materials, and recommendations. Then the next bullet point says, compiles, maintains, and files all physical and computerized reports, records, and other documents.
I bet it's one of 2 things. Either people have to pay for this program, so there needs to be a lot of data to sell it, or it is grant funded and they have to have a lot of data to prove how they're using that money. I bet it's either a combination or one of those things. Am I right?
You would be correct. This
Whoa.
is the ELOP. I don't know if they say it out, whatever program, but this is it's a funding program that was initially established in the 2021-2022 school year with a plan to ramp up funding through 2025-2026. It is currently unchanged. They did not ramp up the funding for this program, and it sits at $4 billion a year. It provides funding for in-person expanded learning opportunities for TK through 6th, and it looks like this is for underserved students. It also includes free and reduced lunch programs, foster youth and homeless students, and English language learners. So I know that I worked at one school that we had a 10-hour school day and we had before and after school, but the day was so long, so a lot of parents worked. And I think that's pretty noble. But I actually think that this job sounds like you're doing a lot. Like, who would apply for that?
Yeah, it doesn't sound very rewarding.
It's not about the money. It's like, why are you doing so much shit? You're everyone.
And like, I'm not really angry at this person getting a salary because this does seem like a job that needs to be done to run this program, but it doesn't seem like a job that I would want to have. So I guess this person can keep their job if they can find someone. They probably won't.
They also maybe need to hire 2 of you.
Yeah, that kind of sounds like what that is.
Yeah. I think this job is worth it. I just think that maybe they're
Does
also
not seem
overworked. Like, what the fuck?
Enjoyable. I found another one. This
Okay,
is a
go
big
ahead.
one. I want more information about this salary range. Maybe this range is so big because it maybe depends on your education. This is an instructional coach specifically for special ed. They make between $67,000 or $66,000 to $135,000 a year. So This is an instructional coach who works with special education teachers to improve the quality of teaching and student learning across all core subject areas. The instructional coach needs to be a self-starter who has experience teaching in a diverse school setting. They need organizational skills. They need to be flexible, team-oriented, have a collaborative approach, blah, 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 blah. Let's get to the essential duties. Assist teachers and grade level teams with the implementation of the state standards. Ensures fidelity of implementation of site-based comprehensive school reform model via monitoring and observation. Conducts informal observations and provides feedback to teachers and assist with the development of new teachers. Facilitates professional learning communities and assist with collaborative lesson planning. Monitors student progress and arranges for academic intervention. Conducts analysis of student data. Uses observation to identify professional development needs. I've yet to hear about them interacting with a child. Models for and supports special education instructional staff in identifying and implementing curriculum. Plans and delivers professional learning activities, participates in professional learning and relating to compliance and IEP, collaborates with parents and local school staff regarding decision making, analyzes student data, provides more coaching, provides coaching on IEPs. And then other duties as assigned, conducts professional development. Like, it's A, very repetitive, and B, this fat ass salary range. I'm not loving this. I feel as though these special education students could probably benefit from having an additional teacher or an additional service provider more than their teacher could benefit from having coaching.
I 100% agree with you. And I know that it sounds really good on paper. Like, I totally get that. But from I was in an inclusive setting my whole teaching experience, you need people. You need
staff.
You can't do right by the kids, and you can't survive in there if you are going to botch a bunch of IEPs because you are overloaded.
And the thing that gets me, I think this is true for all students, but I think it is especially true for students who are receiving special education services. Kids benefit from one-on-one support. One-on-one support is an incredible, incredible method to create student growth. I think we would live in a completely different world if 90% of these coaching positions were collapsed and turned into a floating one-on-one support teacher. Mm-hmm. Imagine if one of your kids was having a hard time with an assignment, they needed more support, you could call someone to work with them one-on-one.
And I think the best instructional coaches I've ever had have done that. Where they're like, call me if you need me, and they actually do that. But there are some days when I know they're being treated like a full one-on-one for one child in one classroom. And then, unfortunately, they're spread very, very thin.
Thinking about at my first teaching job when our instructional coach this was probably one of the first 10 things she said to me upon meeting me. This is a couple days before the first day of school. So, I'm fresh in this bitch. Exact words. Don't ask me shit about U.S. history because I don't know anything about it. I can help you with teaching techniques, but don't ask me anything about U.S. history.
That's crazy.
Right? The way it worked in that district is school site coaches got paid whatever their teaching rate was, and then they got it was like a $5,000 or $6,000 supplement on top of that for being a coach. So it was like a flat $5,000 or $6,000. I don't remember if it was 5 or 6, but it was like more than 5, less than 10, somewhere in there on top of their teach. Like, it was considered a supplement and they were still coded as a teacher. It was a very weird financial district.
In the special education setting, I think it's a special kind of cruel to not help meet those needs of those teachers and students because
and I think
it's just a slap in the face.
Unless every single one of your students in the special education program is receiving an hour of one-on-one support a day consistently, I don't think you have any motherfucking business hiring anyone to do anything except support students. So unless you can look at me and with full fidelity tell me that every one of those kids for an hour a day, every single day, has a certified teacher helping them with their work and supporting them, I don't think there's any coaching to be done because I found it right there. That one's for free. Mm-hmm. You're welcome. Oh my God. Oh wait, I think this job might be what we are talking about. Okay, period. This job actually seems decent. It doesn't have the pay on here. It says it varies based on your certification and experience.
Tell us.
This is a one-on-one educational assistant whose job it is to ensure that IEPs are being implemented correctly, and they are supposed to be floating between classrooms to support students one-on-one. It says to manage behavioral and learning challenges, to help with data collection, safety care, toilet assistance with students that need that support, and this is their whole job. It literally says one-on-one educational assistant.
That's what I'm talking about. But is it just a one-on-one? Like a...
It says that like they float. Like I think they provide one-on-one support. Like you know how lots of kids it says like 40 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day. Because I'll be honest, it has not happened to me at my school, but it has happened to many teachers at my school where they get a plan. It's usually not an IEP, because with an IEP, they usually have to like legally do it. It's usually a kid on MTSS, the multi-tiered support system, because that is legally a lot less intense, where they will fully give this teacher this plan. I've seen this happen more than once. This teacher has maybe 25, 30 kids in the class, and they get a plan that says, Timmy needs 20 minutes of daily one-on-one instruction.
You can't do that.
Yeah, it happened a lot, and then a bunch of people reported it, and then they were like, that's done. Anyway, moving on.
That is so crazy. It has to be illegal.
I'm pretty sure it is. And not only do you have to provide the 20-minute one-on-one support, most of them, it was either 15, 20, or 30 minutes, depending on the kid's plan and their tier or whatever. You also had to fill out reports about how it went and how they did and give the kid a copy and debrief it with them. And then we had like 0% compliance because obviously.
So this one, I'm wondering so much about this job. This is a school board administrator and assistant clerk. This is somebody
I think I saw this one, and it's like so much money.
It's so much money.
This is their henchman. You're not going to convince me otherwise that this person's job is not to come to teachers' houses at night and threaten them into silence.
I'm telling you, this person in Minneapolis is making, hang on, let me tell you. I lost it. $104,000 to $150,000 a year.
Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ.
In Minneapolis. So this person, oh my gracious. So they are supposed to be, they get full benefits, baby. Dental, flexible spending account, health insurance, health savings account, paid time off, retirement, vision. They have it all. And they have, under general supervision, provides operational and logistical support to the Board of Education, the school board, including but not limited to board meeting coordination, constituent interaction support, and other assigned administrative support duties. Serves as assistant school board clerk. Okay. I'm not saying that all school boards are bad at all. I think some
just
school
most
boards
of
are
them.
great. I do feel like there should be somebody on that board who is able to coordinate the meeting logistics. Like, can we elect somebody in the treasury position and somebody in the secretary position? Like, we got a vice president, we got a president. Like, what are we going to do here to delegate this? Because to me, I don't think that's worth that.
Yeah, that sounds like a pretty like administrative low level role. Like it seems like a coordinator position. Like just like
Great, yeah.
Like that is a job. Find me that equivalent job at a private organization that pays that much.
To me, that is a crazy salary for that.
We should apply.
I don't think they would have us. That is a job when you get into the late stages of the interviews, they put a bag over your head and put you in a basement somewhere, and they're like, they unveil you and it's like lit candles around you, and it's like,
they're like, shh, listen.
How far would you go to defend the school board?
Would you kill someone?
Then you have to like chant in Latin.
You have to kill someone to get the job. Like it's like a blood oath. Like they gotta have as much on you as you have on them. They're like, you're gonna kill that teacher that brought up our book ban. You're gonna go to your house and kill her.
I am so concerned. Granted, I will say at the bottom of it, they did a commitment to diversity. They did say diversity is one of Minneapolis public schools' core values and it's essential and blah, blah, blah. Amazing.
They said you can be Black and work in this job that's very confusing, that probably has some strange aspects to it. We are okay. Gay, Republican, brown hair, even purple.
All kinds of diversity is welcome in the school board henchman position.
I found another good one. Do we want to do one more? And then I feel like this is a good topic. We should do this again. I feel like if we do more research, we can really find some bad ones. And what I think, I just realized a better place we can look. For anyone wondering, we took these from like job postings, like things they're hiring for. You know where we need to look? It's going to be harder, but we can do it. Their budgets.
Oh.
Because think a lot of these positions aren't going to be open because they're bullshit positions. Someone's been in forever doing nothing. They're never going to leave that shit. So I feel like we can find the real dirt in the budgets. But
I think you're right.
I just found another one. This is Detroit Public Schools. The title is Program Associate 1 for Assessment Implementation and Training. It pays $70,000 to $93,000 per year. And they get to telecommute 1 day per week. So they get to work from home 1 day per week. So they are a key member of the Assessment and Performance Management Department. This team works with schools and the Michigan Department of Education to provide testing for students at various levels. And then it lists like a fuck ton of tests. The Assessment and Performance Management Department also manages performance and management. That was not me having a stroke or studying. That sentence was, the Assessment and Performance Management Department also manages performance management and evaluation of all district staff, including the calculation and collection of various student achievement metrics to support the evaluations of school-based personnel. This is English, but in a way that's offensive.
I'm unfamiliar with. Haven't heard it used that way.
I guess I am technically speaking English. This is like when people are about to come to the United States and they take those really scary language courses that put like the nightmare sentences with like lots of like the homophones, like Timmy went to the store to buy 2 crates of eggs to take to his mother. Like it's like those sentences that are just as confusing as humanly possible. Okay. So I'm going to skip down to the essential functions. There's 13. Ensure the district has comprehensive, high-quality data on student learning and assessment, planning, and implementation, including developing school assessment plans for district and state testing. Lead district efforts to comply with state and federal mandates by communicating district, state, and national testing expectations and requirements to school assessment teams. This person does not work in a school. I looked up the building, and it's an office building. They have 13 essential duties, but all of them are the same. I'll just read them at random. Draft and publish content for staff, students, and families on the assessment SharePoint site. Support assessment and performance management teams' effort to implement comprehensive assessment systems. Administer and support the maintenance and configuration of the assessment systems. Every one of the 13 duties is talking about managing and implementing assessments, except for number 12, build effective relationships with staff members to implement the district's strategic plan, and perform all other duties as assigned.
They want you to earn their trust before you
harm
rip out
them.
the rug.
God. And they also do not discriminate. They said,
Good.
We are diverse.
We are committed to DEI.
No. It does not say DEI. It just says that they follow the law and that I can go to detroitk12.org/compliance for details on that. No DEI. No.
Let's not get it. Don't get it confused.
They said, no. We are doing the bare minimum. Yep.
This is just like a different world.
Who are
It's
these
like
people?
The education system and corporate America had a baby.
And it's the worst parts of each one.
Oh, absolutely. It's like how the Greeks or whoever used to sculpt sculptures with the best parts of each athlete in each city or whatever. I don't remember what they said. But you know what I mean? They sculpted these jobs with the worst that they could find.
They were like, what is the biggest waste of money? And how do we make it bigger?
They do those surveys at the end of the year, like asking for feedback. And they actually were like, we took all the bad feedback and we made a job.
So we sorted it high to low to see what you needed, and then we hit reverse and prioritized what was at the bottom of your list. We put
and the
it
person
back
who
up
did
at the
that
top.
was paid $100,000 to do it.
And they have some really negative feedback to give you right now. I think this easily can be a second episode and we can find more of these because this was somehow worse than I expected.
You know what I think we should have our listeners do? Listeners, maybe you do this.
Yes.
Pick the administrator you hate the most.
Send it to us.
Send us their job description. Figure out like what it was.
If you cannot figure out their job description, you can just send us their title and we can try and find one.
Send me their name and I will figure it out.
Send me their picture and we will get them on the show and you will be in our ear feeding us questions.
So serious.
Very targeted.
This is the new hater time.
Yeah. Yes.
God, I miss hater time.
We need to do that again.
Did we do that publicly or just for Patreon? Because we
I
should
don't
do
remember.
maybe a public
Hater time.
hater time. I need that.
Once school is over and I get my brain back, it is so fucking over for these other podcasts. Like, it is so over.
So over. We
Yes.
both have a lot of life changes. Big old life events. Just
Big old life events. Things are moving. Things are grooving. Just found my principal on Twitter. That's going to occupy some of my time.
hell yeah. Oh my God. Well, please send us your administrators'
Titles.
because I would love to analyze. I want to know what they did to you, and I want to tell you if they're worth their money.
Bonus points if they're not school site admin, because the worst ones we read are not at a school site. Well, we hope that this wasn't too depressing and didn't make you too mad, but if it did, my biggest tip for you is to start asking these people for things. My department head gave me some phenomenal advice where he said that every time they try and tell him how to do his job, he asked them for the materials. And I've used it. It works very well. There's like a 10% chance you'll get the materials, and that's kind of cool. And then there's a 90% chance they'll leave you alone. Also cool.
Also cool. I love it so much. Okay. Well, we love you.
Bye. Have fun at school. Or don't.
Or don't. What